Orale! Bienvenidos and welcome to the Familia FFB podcast. This is Jorge Martin Familia. It's week one. It's week one. It's week one. It is here. Estamos aquí. And it's just pumped to have football back. Just pumped to have football back. Here we are, September the 7th. It's the day before the opener. You might see a certain host of Familia FFB at the game. So check out Twitter and maybe even do some stuff on Instagram. But Familia, we are live. First off, we are live on YouTube. Let's talk about week one. So please make sure to give us a like and subscribe. We are so happy to be here. Such proud members of the Fantasy Points Media Group. I mean, guys, the Fantasy Points Familia, we're just, it's been awesome. The content has just been great. Some of you who are subscribers, you might have seen me on the Discord lately. I'm kind of helping out on the Discord a few days a week, just kind of moving things around, getting people hyped for football, answering some questions, everything like that. Just enjoying kind of growing a little bit with what I'm doing with Fantasy Points. Just so proud. Muchas gracias to everybody. And Familia, you got the best of the best. The content in there. I just finished listening to the 2 Bars episode where they had Darren Manser, who's just like a DFS pro. And he said that he gets all his content from Fantasy Points. I'm telling you, Familia, you got John Hansen, you got Graham Barfield, Scott Barrett, Joe Dolan, Tom Brawley, Wes Hubert. I mean, some of the great minds out there. Greg Cosell is going to be on a weekly show with John Hansen, kind of breaking down tape and what he's seen and how to project that out for fantasy. And I tell you, when you go to fantasypoints.com, make sure to put in the promo code Familia 22 Familia 10 and get 10% off your subscription. Remember, it's a new promo code, so make sure you're going in there. Familia, I'm so pumped. I'm so pumped for this game. Alberto, how you doing, mi amigo? Are you ready for some football? Are you ready? Oh, I'm so pumped. So pumped. Thank you for joining. Thank you. Throw some questions in the chat. This episode is what I'm calling what for 3 years now we've called it Adentro y Afuera. You're in or you're out. It's kind of the Latino version of the start sit show. And it's basically what I'm going through is, kind of promoting the players that I really like for this week. Some of the players that I'm kind of like taking a step back. I'm not really concentrating on players who are like the obvious picks. I may be talking about them in the DFS show later this week. But it's players that are kind of like on the cusp, or that I think are ready to break out and have a big game, or they have just a really tough matchup and it's not going to happen for them. So let's make sure to we're gonna be able to we're gonna break down just a bunch of all players that way. But first, we're gonna get into some chisme and just important stuff. Oh, well, one thing I need to talk about first off, drafts. I've got one more draft, 2 more drafts actually tonight. They're going to be happening simultaneously. One is going to be a live draft. But first off, Familia, what I've told you, that Familia FFB is based on our Familia League. And so I thought I'd share kind of how everything went with our draft, or our draft over the weekend. It was, I tell you, it was just a lot of fun, just so much fun. That I'm gonna look to. I mean, we had a great time. It was. Let me get some things going. Get some screenshots ready for you to enjoy. Yeah, you know what? It was hot, caliente, Familia. It was really caliente out there. But you know what? Had a great time, had plenty of shade. Gracias to Primo Victor for being our host and also having us with making sure we were plenty cool with lots of water and a little bit of cerveza. The Monkish Brewery. You're not a sponsor yet of this show, but I think you need to sponsor, because Familia buys so much of that beer and it was so tasty. And I actually got a little 4-pack to go home with me. So that was fun. That was phenomenal. I was picking out of the 105, and you guys know how much I love me some Jamar Chase. So you know what? Wait a second. Hold on. We got a comment in here in the chat. Who else is in here today? Let's see. I see. Half PPR. I feel I need an RB2. Was offered Josh Jacobs for Waddle or Elliott for Debo Samuels. Should I make one? Should I take one? Let me see. Cook, Henderson, my wide receivers, Debo Samuel, Jalen Waddle, AJ Brown, Gabe Davis, Darnell Mooney. Well, here's the thing about that. Here's the thing about that one. Yeah, Josh Jacobs for Waddle. I mean, Josh Jacobs. I mean, if it's dynasty, I do like Josh Jacobs a little bit. I don't know if I do, Ezekiel Elliott for Debo Samuel. I mean, that's a big give. You're giving up a lot just for a running back on that one. Jacobs for Waddle is a little bit closer. Also, keep in mind that Waddle has been battling injuries a little bit, so you might be able to. So you might kind of off to a slow start. Jacobs is going to get used in that offense. So that to me is the thing that I want you to keep in mind. I know there's a lot of talk about Zamir White, a lot of talk about Amir Abdullah. The guy who's the lead back for in a Josh McDaniels offense still gets primary carries. So he's going to get 225, 250 touches total, including, that's including targets. If I were to do either one, I'd do Jacobs for Waddle. It's tough because Waddle is at the beginning of his career and he's going to be great for a long time. Jacobs is good, but I just don't know if he's going to be good beyond this season because he's going to be a free agent after this season, and someone's going to have to sign him to kind of like a Melvin Gordon type of contract and making sure he's going in there. Great wide receiver room, Mr. Robinson, C. Robinson. I tell you, I don't know, guy, girl. I don't want to be presumptuous. Great wide receiver room. Cook, Henderson. I mean, if I were to do either one, it'd be Jacobs. So good luck on that one. Send me a tweet. Let me know how it went. You know where to find me at Jorge Martin 17. So we started off. Let me get the correct team up, and I'm gonna share a screen. So, where are those screenshots? Real quick. Sorry about that, Familia. All right. All right. So, Familia, here we go. This is what we have. We got Tom Brady. I waited on quarterback. Okay, so you guys know my love for Jamar Chase. I got him at the 105 and just decided to go. At first I thought I was going to go hero RB, but then Saquon Barkley and Javonte Williams both fell to me at the second and third round, so I could not pass those off. And then I just hammered wide receiver on that one. Cortland Sutton, Deontay Johnson. I just wanted those guys. Ramondre Stevenson was falling, so I had to grab him up at a certain point. I wanted Dameon Pierce, but my primo Hector, who's been paying attention to my content all off season, been listening to how much I love Dameon Pierce. He grabbed him at the end of the fourth round, just as I was about to snag him. But I like some of the depth that I have. Dalton Schultz, Amari Cooper. You guys know how much I love Kenneth Gainwell. I think, especially with one of the Cheeseman notes that we've got coming up. Julio Jones, you know what? If he comes up and he does something, I got him to stack with Brady. My rookies, Sky Moore, Chris Olave, I like to have them in case they break out at some point this season. And Justin Fields, I got him just in case Brady isn't it and Fields comes up with the rushing, so I could have a nice little quarterback tandem on that one. It gave me one of the highest grades. I did not get the highest grade. My cousin Nico got that one. I'm very bitter about it because he won the bet. And but though Primo Mikey was the one who came away with the money because he's the one who was actually at the draft making the picks. So he's, hey Primo, you got to show up for the draft and do it that way. So overall, I think it's a good solid roster. You all know how much I love Saquon. He's one of my guys. Javonte Williams has really been coming on for me lately, especially after having Troy Rink from Denver 7. I'm telling you, I think it's I think it's a roster that hopefully is going to give me a chance to break the schneid a little bit. So let me stop that one, and then I'm going to do a quick look at the other roster, because we, as we said, Familia is so big. Oh, wait a second, wrong one. our familia is so big that we can have 2 leagues, and so let me look at number 2. Is this it? Yeah, so that team Familia, I ended up with Kyler Murray as at the end of the first round, and again Jamar Chase, I got him in the second, and I mean it's funny. I was kidding around that I just wanted to draft a similar roster so I didn't have guys to the same guys to go after, but again Saquon, Javonte Williams, Deontay Johnson, Dalton Schultz. I mean but then I got a little frisky. I got DK Metcalf and Tony Pollard, DeAndre Hopkins. I know he's suspended, but I've got guys to put in. Pat Freiermuth is a guy I really like. Rondale Moore could be a stack with Kyler Murray possibility. I really like Tony Pollard this year. I think he's going to catch a lot of passes early on in the season, until Michael Gallup is back. But again, solid roster. It's super flex. We had to be different. Super flex league. It's PPR. Very different from the other one. I think Dame Overboard called standard Gaveman, and I agree. So just winning rosters all around, Familia. I love it. But gonna get into a little bit of Cheesemith first off before we get into the Adentro y Afuera. So I've got some injuries to watch going into this week. Miles Sanders, Alan Lazard. Sanders has a thigh injury. Alan Lazard, we're not sure what it is, but he's limited right now. Michael Thomas coming off a hamstring, supposedly he's back to practice. Deontay Johnson, Brooke Pryor of ESPN just recently said that Johnson's shoulder injury may be more serious than has been let on. He at early practice he was off to the side, so something to keep an eye on. So maybe we see the George Pickens revelation come sooner. Maybe we need to see Chase Claypool. Maybe see Pat Freiermuth get a big load. Something to keep an eye on. So keep an eye. I'll be tweeting about this, over these next several days as the injury information comes out. On the Jets side, Robert Saleh the coach has confirmed that Zach Wilson's going to miss at least the first season's first 4 weeks as he's recovering, mentally and physically from the knee injury, the torn meniscus. It's one of those things. You can't expect Zach Wilson to come back from a torn meniscus. It's that quickly. I think they were talking about 4 weeks, and from the date of the injury. And right now, I think at the end of this week, I think we will be right at 4 weeks when the injury happened. I think it happened on Friday. I can't expect that to be, something that you come back quickly from. Maybe they're being more careful with them. There's some talk that maybe the Jets weren't completely happy with how Zach Wilson is looking was looking in preseason. So I'm not buying that. I'm just buying that he needs to get completely healthy, but also more ready for the season. So I don't mind that they're taking chances on him. Zach Wilson, went largely undrafted on a lot of teams. So deeper rosters like the Scott Fishbowl, you keep an eye on him. So, Familia, follow the money. Dawson Knox got a 4-year contract extension. Do you think he's going to be, remain a big part of this offense? It is a big part of this offense. So I'm expecting big things out of him. I think he's going to be potentially the number 3 target in this offense. But this is, the Bills, one of the most pass happy offenses. Dawson Knox still going to have a good season. He's going to be top 10 tight end, maybe even sneak into the top 5 or 6 if volume goes further his way. The touchdowns remained, he remained a touchdown monster. So keep an eye on him. Yeah, he's definitely going to be a guy who's going to have. I'm expecting to have a very good year this year. I've got a lot of shares in him in several of my leagues. Last but not least, Brian Robinson is off crutches, according to Coach Ron Rivera. So you know what? Great news. Just all the blessings in the world. Good luck to Brian Robinson. I know he's going to miss at least the first 4 weeks of the season from a fantasy standpoint. You know what? I'm going to keep an eye on what Dr. Edwin Porras says and the other medical experts say. I mean, this is a gunshot wound, multiple gunshot wounds. So you just think that it's going to take him a while to get better from this. So just listen to the doctors. Antonio Gibson, I don't know if I'm recommending him yet. This week they do have the Jaguars, so the Jaguars. It's a home game against the Jaguars. It could be one of those things where Gibson has a good game. Maybe he's a good play for DFS. Yeah, it's hard to tell for that one. So I with the fumbles and everything, I'm just staying away from this backfield so much. I've got very little to, I don't think I have anything of Antonio Gibson going into this season. I really thought the Brian Robinson, thank you to Manny Chakuba for really turning me on to, how the Washington Commanders are looking at their running back room. So, Familia, we're going to get into some players now. But before anything, I also want to give a shout out to the league that I'm drafting with tonight. It's the True Blue Fantasy Football League. This is going to be my 17th season in this league. This league is more than 20 years old. It's fantastic. It's kind of a hybrid. It used to be the front office only league, and now it's actually kind of some alumni, which I am, as you guys all well know. It's probably about half and half. It's a 14-team league, PPR league. It is, this is as close to expert as I'm getting. There are some in some drafts, I think they may be even harder because these guys are the guys and ladies, just incredible players. I've won the league a couple of times, finished and gone to the finals a couple of times. Feel very lucky to have done that. We're actually the Sofa Kings. We're with my amigo Dan Butler. We are the reigning champs right now. So thank you to Jarrett Patterson and AJ Dillon and more really Debo Samuel. So he was the guy who carried us to that title last year. So, but yeah, 14-team PPR. I'm going to send a shout out to Dame Overboard, who's got her own 14-team PPR league draft this week. So I believe it's today. So good luck to you on that one. So I'm going to get into some players to talk about for this week. So Adentro, who am I in on? Dak Prescott, Familia. Dak Prescott going home against Tampa Bay. I mean, last year, remember, let's flash back to last year, the Thursday night game. Dak Prescott, all of the talk coming into the game was that Dak had not practiced because he had that lat injury that he suffered at the very beginning of training camp. So he didn't throw. All he did was pass for 403 yards and 3 touchdowns. It was a 31-29 loss, but this showed that this Dallas offense was for real and that Dak was back. So this is a guy, it's a home game. Tampa Bay's secondary is more forgiving of the two. Their rushing defense is one of the best in the NFL, but keep in mind this is a home game for Dak. Last year, he threw 23 touchdown passes in the home games, just a pair of interceptions. So he was phenomenal at home. I think he's going to be phenomenal this week. I think it's good. I think this is a game that could be a bit of a track meet. It could be, very similar to last year's game. So Dak Prescott's a guy I'm looking at. Joe Mixon is one of my is my adentro guy of the week, my caliente pick. Joe Mixon, he's going up against Pittsburgh. We all remember that Thursday night game where Pittsburgh gave up 205 yards to Dalvin Cook. And, but, almost as memorable was the Week 12 game where the Steelers, where Mixon just torched the Steelers for 28 carries, 165 yards, 2 touchdowns. I think this is going to be more of the same. He also put up 90 yards in the other game at Heinz Field. So the Steelers, until they prove that they can stop the run, I'm just going to stop I'm going to keep picking my running backs against them. I'm just going to keep playing them and playing them and playing them. So next one is kind of an intriguing pick right now. It's Chase Edmonds home versus New England. Now, we're less than 2 weeks. So this game is going to be less than 2 weeks after Sony Michel was released and no one was signed to replace him. Edmonds is the only big money running back acquisition for, head coach Mike McDaniel. I know Raheem Mostert got spent some money and he showed up a little bit, but the thing is, Chase Edmonds is the guy who's going to be the dual threat. He's going to be the guy who could catch passes out of the backfield. He's going to run some. We don't know who's going to be getting the yardage in the red zone. Is he going to be like Austin Eckler last year, who was the guy who didn't get a lot of run in the red zone, and then all of a sudden caught scored like 12 touchdowns in the red zone last year. So one of the things that also sticks in me was the interview I had with Andrew Callahan of the Boston Herald, there where he pointed out that the Patriots lost starters on defense, and and that sometimes Belichick's defenses take a little while to get going. They get off to slow starts. New England usually has a tough time in Miami, and I think Chase Edmonds is ready to rock out of this game. I think he's going to have a big one. Definitely ready for that one. On the receiver side, let's go to Hollywood. Marquise Hollywood Brown, el hombre. Home game against Kansas City. I'm going to talk about this game in a little bit. Marquise Brown is gonna eat. Zach Ertz, he just came back from practice. He's had a calf injury for the better part of the last month. So how acclimated is he going to be to the offense? Rondale Moore's battling a little bit of an injury. I'm telling you, I'm doing a little bit of a play on words on one of my, a famous Billy Joel songs. Instead of say hello to Hollywood, it's the OK Connection with Kyler Murray. It's going to be rekindled. The Kansas City defense, kind of similar to the New England defense, had some turnover. Is going to have some young players who could have some growing pains, and this game's going to be a shootout. I'm going to talk about this one. Kyler Murray is one of the best deep ball passers, according to Greg Cosell, in the NFL, and Marquise Brown is going to be getting deep. He's just going to get past the defenders. I think he's going to catch at least one touchdown. He's going to go well over 100 yards. He is going to have himself a big game. Picante pick. Another one that I love this week is another wide receiver, Mike Williams, going up against the Raiders. You know what? I remember when Gilberto of the Daily News and the OC Registered, how effusive he was about Williams' connection with Justin Herbert. He pointed out how in the do or die game against the Raiders in Week 18 in January, whenever it seemed like they had a fourth down play or a third down play where they needed a first down conversion, it was Williams on the receiving end of that of those passes from Herbert. That night, we saw Williams go for 9 catches on 17 targets, 119 yards, and 1 touchdown. And this is going against the Raider defense, a secondary that took some hits in the second. Took some hits, and they're probably going to take a step backward on the defensive side. This game has shootout possibilities all over it. On the fast track at SoFi Stadium, both teams are dome teams. Both teams are have great quarterbacks with high-powered offenses, great play callers. It's a bit, love this game. Love this game, and I love Mike Williams on this one. So let's go afuera. Who am I out on this week? Out. You know what? Justin Fields. I love him on the season. I think he's going to break. I think he's going to take a major step forward this year. I think the rushing ability is there, but I do not like him this week against that San Francisco defense. It is still a home game, but you're asking me, you're asking this kid who was under pressure a lot in the preseason games, going up against, sometimes second stringers. And now he's got Nick Bosa on the other side. He's got Fred Warner on the other side. And this is going to be one of the best defenses in the NFL this season. And I think they're going to be in Justin Fields' face. Maybe he makes up for it with the rushing, but you know what? You need the rushing and the passing to have him do well. I'm sitting him on one of my rosters. I'm making sure that, where I have him as a backup, I clearly am stashing him. I think he's going to break out, but I'm going to pick and choose my spots where I'm going to start him early on, unless he absolutely, blows up. But that Chicago offensive line needs help. Keep that kid healthy, por favor. I'm telling you, it's just so necessary right now. So we need to make sure he's a dual threat. So, but it's not going to be this week. Another one, Mac Jones at Miami. Now, we saw the struggles, Familia, during spring training. Sorry. We saw the struggles during preseason games. It looked like the Patriots are having a tough time replacing Josh McDaniels as a play caller. I still think this is a Belichick team. and they're going to figure it out, but I don't think they're going to figure it out. And let's also keep in mind that the Patriots, when they go to Miami, weird things happen. And I've seen this so many times over the last several seasons. The visiting bench at Hard Rock Stadium is just bathed in that South Florida sunshine. And then at some point on the broadcast, they'll show the thermometer that's on the sideline. It'll show something around 115 degrees. And those temperatures are in that stifling, they are in that stifling humidity. It's nothing like the 110 degrees that we've seen out here in California, where it's a dry heat. It still sucks. Believe me, we're almost out of this, Familia. But you know what? That humidity is going to be tough. It's going to be a tough game for Mac Jones. I'm staying away from him in DFS and all possibilities on this one. Next one, Rashad Penny, home against Denver on Monday Night Football. Yes, Ken Walker's going to miss the game, and so you'd think that having Penny in the backfield by himself in that Pete Carroll ground and pound offense, would have him on the Adentro side. Well, remember, this is going to be Russell Wilson's homecoming, Familia, and it's going to Seattle for the first time, playing for Denver. What do we see happening? The Seahawks are rebuilding that defense. I'm looking at Russell Wilson to have himself. I mean, yes, Coach Steve. Yes, the Jones throwing 3 picks, calling it now. I'll say I will. I'm right with you on that action. Muchas gracias, mi amigo. Muchas gracias. I'm looking at. Sorry about that. I had to kind of clear the throat a little bit. Rashad Penny. I mean, when the Broncos go up by 2 touchdowns, maybe even 3, because the Denver offense is going to be looking to prove a point, and also the fact that the Seattle defense is not very good. I think the Seattle is going to have to go away from the running game. It's going to make DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett a little bit more viable this week. The Broncos do have a good secondary, so but again, it's going to be the 12s will be out there, but I just don't see Rashad Penny having much of a game this week. Next player, Zeke. Now, I know the Zeke aficionados, the truthers, you all love them. You guys are going to want to take a shot at me and, say estás loco and everything, that he's going back to his dominant self. Listen, I hope he's healthy. I hope he comes back. I saw some tape of him a couple of days ago where he was, pre PCL injury, but this is a Cowboy offensive line that it's still rebuilding, and it's gonna have some growing pains up until Jason Peters is ready to take over the left tackle spot and possibly, slide Tyler Smith into the left guard. And they're going up against a Tampa Bay defense that was number 3 in fewest rushing yards allowed last year. So I think Zeke's not going to have a lot of room to run because of the offensive line. I know it's going to be a great environment with, home for Dallas, but they're going to do their damage in the passing game. So again, look at Tony Pollard as a possibility there. The next one, last player to talk about, Elijah Moore. Sorry, Familia. So many people have been just hyping him up, but I don't like him this week. I know it is a home game, but it's Baltimore. And, much as I like Moore for the season, this is going to be a rough week for him because Baltimore's secondary is healthy now. So that was their biggest problem. I think Baltimore is going to get back to playing, shutdown defense, and they're going to be. I know it's a revenge game for Joe Flacco. I mean, Jose Flacco, but this one, I just don't see it. I just don't see it for Elijah Moore this week. I think the passing game is just not going to be able to do much of anything. I hope that they improve the offensive line. The improved offensive line shows up some, but again, also the other thing, the running game is going to have a tough time because Baltimore, even when they were having a tough time against the passing game last year, they were still tough against the run. Maybe it was because they threw a lot more. Teams threw a lot more against them, and were going away from the running game. Doesn't matter. I'm staying away from Elijah Moore this week. So. I just don't see it. So we got So that kind of does it for Adentro y Afuera. I look for an article that I'll be publishing soon on this one. I've got 4 games that I'm just kind of that I just want to talk about real quickly. Thursday night game, we got the Rams hosting the Buffalo Bills, who are 2.5-point favorites, so home underdogs, home underdogs, and with an over under of 52 points. I think this game's going to shoot. I think defenses are consistently behind the offenses when it comes to this. Becomes probably the first month of the season, at least the first 2 weeks. Things are still being figured out, but I think both offenses are gonna run. Now, one guy that I'm really kind of excited about this week, is Cooper Kupp. It's they're going up against the Bills secondary that's not going to have Tre'Davious White, who is going to miss the first several games of the season. So I don't think they're going to have anybody who could cover Cooper Kupp. And they might put 2 guys on him, which is going to leave Allen Robinson open. I'm looking at this game as very much going to be a passing fest. Jalen Ramsey is healthy, according to all the reports, and I think he's going to be fine. But I think this could be a game where Gabe Davis on a national stage just really shows up. It might be Jalen Ramsey sticks with Stephon Diggs, and that's gonna leave Gabe Davis open. Dawson Knox, another possibility. I mean, it's both teams. One sleeper pick, for those of you who are doing DFS on Thursday night, Tutu Atwell. Van Jefferson is out, and I still remember very well Deshaun Jackson going deep several times early in the season and catching one like 78-yarder or something like that, where Sean McVay was going along with him. Tutu Atwell is that guy for the Rams. He's the guy that they're going to be taking the deep shots with. So I'm looking at this game. I think it's going to be a shootout. I can see the Bills winning, but I could also see the Rams covering in this one. So take the home team, take the world champs. I'll be at the game. Make sure to see what pictures I post. Next game that we're looking at, this game I'm more intrigued by what we're going to see as more than what we're looking at. How to really breaking this game down, because the Lions are home is going to be a 48.5-point over under. Both teams are going to, the Eagles are a Super Bowl sleeper. So if Jalen Hurts takes a step forward, which he can, and he's played on the big stage, I think he's, I don't know if he takes the Josh Allen year 3 step, but I think he's ready to take a major leap this year as a passer with AJ Brown, Devonta Smith becoming even better, and Dallas Goedert. I think it's I think this is great offense, great offensive line. Just great. I love this offense all around. So on the other side, you get but I want to see how Jalen Hurts passes and how much he incorporates AJ Brown. On the Lions side, how much does DeAndre Swift really get in the passing game? Is he getting used like an Alvin Kamara type? So that's one thing that I'm keeping an eye on. And does Jared Goff kind of keep that connection with Amon-Ra St. Brown? I think it's a great thing to keep an eye on this one. Ponlo en la mira. Next game. This is going to be my game of the week. Everybody who you have who's healthy in Chiefs at Cardinals, you're starting them. I think I'm taking the home dog on this one. This 6 points at home, the way Kyler Murray plays at home on the fast track, I think that this is going to be a shootout. The Chiefs may still win, but I think this is a game that's going to be like 34-31, where it's both quarterbacks are just lighting everything up. But I think it's going to become a 1-score game. Chiefs are going to go. Everyone, you're starting them. As I mentioned, Hollywood Brown is a big play. Both quarterbacks are very much in play for DFS. Definitely want to get them in there. Sneaky, any sneaky plays. I mean, Sky Moore could be a guy that gets some run. Rondale Moore could be a cheap play on DFS. I'm going to have a DFS show later in the week and an article, so I'm looking at that. This game, I'm so excited to see this game. So last one, Raiders at Chargers. We already talked about Mike Williams. This is going to be the Devontae show, the Devontae debut with the Raiders. It's going to be, the games. There's something about these games at SoFi Stadium that just have a habit of shooting out. These big games. It's it's going to be in the afternoon window. So it's going to be it's going to be one of the 125 games for us, 425 for our amigos on the East Coast. I'm looking at that. I'm looking at that one. You start everybody. You really start everybody. I mean, I'm even looking at starting Zamir White and Amir Abdullah as last off the bench guys. This game 52 points with the Chargers at 3.5-point favorites. This is going to be another game that I think is going to be ready to go. Kind of hit. Go. I think this game's going to go over. I could see the Raiders covering that hook right there. That half a point has me thinking this is going to be a field goal game. Those people in Vegas, they certainly know those things. So this is going to be one of my favorite games to watch of the weekend. Both quarterbacks are going to be doing well. Derek Carr, the Chargers are down J.C. Jackson, so they're big money cornerbacks. So kind of taking a step back in the secondary. So I think that's going to make sure that's going to make open things up for Devontae Adams, Hunter Renfrow, and even Darren Waller a little bit. So, Familia, that's it. That's it for week one. Got us in under 40 minutes a little bit. So hope you enjoyed the show. Please, otra vez, make sure when you go to fantasypoints.com, give us use our promo code 22Familia10. Actually, we got a couple comments in here. I want to make sure if you, let me look. Let's see. Do I mind rating your fantasy teams? Let me take a quick look at this. 12-team PPR, $50 buy-in. Pick 2: Hurts, Eckler, Fournette, Debo, Amon-Ra, Waller, Etienne. Geez, I loved it. I love this. I love this one. The one guy I'm a little worried about is Fournette. I think that one's a little I worry about him lasting the whole season. I hope you have another one. I love the wide receiver room. I do like that you have Etienne as a backup to Fournette, kind of like as a flex play, because I think you're going to play Etienne a lot and maybe be able to slide in a wide receiver when if Fournette does miss some time. Hopefully he doesn't, but it's going to be tough. So, you got Dameon Pierce on the bench. I know it's a tough matchup this week, but I'm starting Dameon. I'm going to start Dameon. I've got a lineup with Dameon Pierce in for DFS for this week, so I got that one. Chris Thompson also has another one. In your other league, 12-team PPR. Pick number 9. You got Kyler, Mixon. Well, I like Mixon a lot this week. Swift, AJ Brown. Loved. I really like. Oh, you're a big Etienne fan. Kyler Murray is going to run this year. I've got him rated as my number 3 quarterback this season, so I think it's a great pick. I think Mixon is really going to be the only show in town when it comes to Cincinnati, and Swift. Yeah, he's going to be an RB1 this year. He is going to be an RB1. He's going to catch. He's going to catch at least 60 balls, and he might run past that one. So, and AJ Brown, DJ Moore, studs. Zach Ertz. Hopefully, keep an eye on that calf injury. I've got some Zach Ertz. I really like him, especially the first 6 weeks of the season when DeAndre Hopkins is hurt. Really like that one. So I think I really like him in that one. So you weren't getting for him in the $100 league, but that's all right. You got him. You got him. Chris Thompson, thank you. Also our amigo Coach Steven Pintado, C. Robinson, Albert, muchas gracias, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy week one. Going to have another show talking about some DFS later in the week, likely on Friday afternoon. Going to try and get into kind of easing into the schedule for this season. And also, again, Familia 22 Familia 10 when you go to fantasypoints.com. Make sure you're also giving us a like and subscribe on YouTube, Familia FFB. And lastly, when you go to Apple, Google, Spotify for the audio version of this podcast, Familia FFB, please give us a like and subscribe. And if you give us a rating, really appreciate it. Otra vez, look for our content, familiafb.com, but mostly keep an eye on at Jorge Martin 17 on Twitter. That's where I'm going to be pushing everything out. So, otra vez, thank you everybody for joining us. Enjoy week 1. And remember, todos somos familia. Salud.